Right, good morning ladies. We are coming in on morning. I'm having great trouble with my internet connection. So I'm hoping that it's going to hold fast long enough for us to be able to do our Facebook Live this morning. So do come on and say hello if you are here with us. I'm just going to check that I'm live in the right place. It's Monday morning. I'm having printer issues, internet issues, everything going on. So I just want to make sure that we're going live in the right place. We played that game last week before we get started, but as I say, I do apologise if we have problems. We do have problems, I'll perhaps go away and record it and upload a recorded video for today instead, but hopefully oh, that's good, we're live. Good morning, Lisa. Hopefully it'll be okay and it will hold fast. I'm here on my own, so there's nobody else sort of seeping the internet this morning, so let's just hope that that's enough to keep it going. Okay, right, so I had a request from Caroline. Good morning, Caroline. I'm glad that you're here because you requested a couple of weeks ago some pyramid cards. So I thought that's what we would do this morning. We'd do one largish one and one smallish one, one Christmas one, one non-Christmassy one. So I have got the Christmas Gleaming paper there and the bauble punches and things, and the whale punch. So I thought we'd combine some papers and some punches with some pyramid cards. So let's start with, I'm going to put this to one side because we're going to start with a small version. I'm going to do that in the whale of a time. So I think we'll grab some just jade paper, I think, or just jade card. I'm going to get a sheet of just jade cardstock, and I'm going to take, oh, excellent. Oh, that sounds exciting, Caroline. I hope that's exciting. Right, so I'm going to start by, I'm going to take this piece of A4 cardstock and I'm going to cut it at 9.9 centimetres, and we'll put that bit to one side. And then I'm going to go and cut 3 9.9 centimetre squares. So this particular size pyramid card, you will get 3 from your length of A4 card. You'll get 3 squares, and what you need to do with each of those squares is you're going to line them up in your trimmer groove, point to point, and you're going to score them. So 1. Now you can actually make these squares whatever size you like. It's all exactly the same theory. 3 squares, exactly the same size, all scored in half, point to point, like that. Okay, and then let's decide what paper we're going to use. That's quite fun. Let's have a bit of blue bubbles. So I think I'll have one like that, one like that, and oh, let's go. Well, there's a bit there that I'm going to. No, it is a whole sheet. Let's go with those 3. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to cut 3 9.4 centimetre squares. So they will just be that 0.5 centimetre shorter than my cardstock on the front, and then we're going to cut those in half as well, and then that will make those beautiful size mats for our card. Now what we'll need to do is eventually we'll need to have one of these pieces of cardstock with the score coming down the centre like that. We'll need one with the score line coming like that, so that score line is now resting up against that outside edge, and then we'll need this one going the other way. So I don't know if you can see that. You'll end up with like this sort of shape with this bit at the bottom, and then these will all fold round like that, overlap, and voila, there's your card. That's as difficult as it is, so we want it like that. So now we're going to put our papers, knowing that that's how it's going to go. I think I might have this in the background there, and perhaps the fishy bits there, and the blue bubbly bits just there like that. Okay, so let's stick those in place. And that is the basis of your card really. It's just you're going to have 3 squares. You have one with the point downwards. You have them all scored point to point. You have one with the point downwards, and then the other ones you line up so that they sit along that edge. And of course you're going to get a nice sort of border of card on all of your edges. You could make this another mat if you want to, and then put a go slightly smaller with your paper. Obviously if you were going to do that, you'd carry on doing exactly the same. You'd cut them down a ½ centimetre smaller and cut them all on the diagonal, and then you'll have perfectly fitting mats. See, that would look quite fun as well, wouldn't it? We could have had whales and things, but we'll stick with our bubble theme. That's what we've gone with. And our papers here. There we are. Let's stick that down. Let me just find my bone folder, and we'll make sure we're burnishing those folds nicely. So let's put some glue on there. You could lift these up with dimensionals if you wanted to, but what we want to make sure is that that fold comes in along there, so it's matching up with our fold line in the middle and our fold line on the edge. That. Let's do the same with this one. fold line in the middle, and a fold line on the edge. Got some glue going on there, don't necessarily want that. So now that's going to flip over there, and you've got your 3 sides. Now obviously you're going to need something to keep that in place, so you can fold it flat to go into an envelope, so however you want to fold it. I think that will fit. I'll just grab a C6 envelope. Yeah, that will fit in a standard, easily into a standard C6 envelope. But you need to make sure that that's held down. Now you've got various ways of doing that. You could have it so that you've put a little bit of Velcro, so you could have some Velcro on the bottom there. We could have stuck a magnet on here. We could have perhaps concealed a magnet under that paper and concealed a magnet under that paper and have it snap shut with a magnet. Seems to have quite a bit of glue on there. Let's just get rid of that, because otherwise it's going to give us, it may give us trouble later. Or you can create some sort of a, and you can decide which ways it goes, you could create some sort of a little button almost that will fit in there, that's going to stick on this one, and that you can tuck that bit in. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's just take, what shall we take to create our button? Just thinking that I have so many things, ladies, waiting to be put away and sorted out. Being on stage this weekend was fabulous. Things that are coming are fabulous. But it does mean that everything is in complete disarray everywhere around me. That's what I'm thinking. Is this little circle just there. So let me find an oddment of just jade. Just want a little bit of that. It's going to sit on there like that. We need something to sit in the middle of it. Let's have a look at how. Oh, I think the smallest circle is still going to be too big for that one. To do is I'm going to take that die and I think I'm going to take some fishy paper. I'm going to lie that down on there. I'm going to draw around that. That's just the inner section of that die, and hopefully, it's never easy cutting circles, is it, so that they look like circles. They're always a little screw-if. That's not bad. We've got a little button. Hi, Michelle. So I've just used the inside of that die to draw around that paper and make my little button. Let's have that little fishy come in the right way. So what we'll do then is we will make sure he's the way that we want him. Put some dimensionals on the bottom of there. And stick him in place. And that hopefully will be enough just to keep that holding on just there. We could have a little sentiment panel on the back there as well. Let's just find the Whale Done stamp set. What should we have? You're kind of a big deal. And we'll go zip point, I think. Oh, that was nearly my toe. Nearly. That one, I think. I have got so many jobs to do today, but I can't help feeling that actually to spend half an hour tidying up will actually make the rest of my to-do list a lot easier to deal with today. Otherwise I'm going to spend all day digging about, losing things. Sometimes you just need to take 5, don't you? And then in amongst these stamps, that's on a bit of a wonk, isn't it? Oh well, never mind. We'll perhaps stick it on a bit of a wonk and we'll add in some fishes. Let's stick it on a wonk and then the wonk won't be quite so obvious. There we go. Fab. So let's put some little decorations on this side then. So we've worked out our keeping it together button on the back and our greeting. So I think let's dig back into our paper. Which is just here. Because in this paper, you know that there are somewhere some fabulous whales that are just going to be able to punch out with our punch. So let's have a Blackberry Bliss one. And let's have a Just Jade one. And if we have a look, what else could we add in there? flicking through these papers. These papers are wonderful. We could have a turtle. We could put in smaller whales. We've got any little bits. I don't think there's any little bits there with. Turtles. We could add in possibly some jellyfish or some right, so what I'm going to do is oh look, there's a bit of odd bit with some turtles. That's what I was looking for. Let's have a turtle, and let's go for this one just here. So obviously once you've made your card, you can decorate him just how you like. Concentrating for this one on stage was fabulous. Thank you, Caroline. Caroline's just asked how on stage went. It sort of feels a bit weird, but we had a couple of WhatsApp chats going. So my own little team had a WhatsApp chat going, so you know, we could ooh and ah over things. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like what she's done with that. Oh, that's clever. And get excited about our prize patrols and, you know, drum rolls and those sorts of things. So we had yeah, there was one for the UK demos that I was a part of, and there was one for my team, so we were able to keep in contact. We did have a bit of a Zoom on Thursday evening just to touch base with each other, so it was good ways of, we were able to keep in touch with each other as well as enjoying what was going on. I think I might just take some of these weeds from here, looking for things that are relatively big to cut out. So good fun, lots of gorgeous things coming, but we've still got lots of gorgeous things to keep playing with until then. I'm sure that before very much longer you will start to see things appearing, particularly the demonstrators in the US. If you follow any of the US demonstrators, they're able to expedite their shipping. So for some of them, I'm sure that by today there'll be some of them that are already receiving some of their things from their product premiere pre-order. That's a mouthful, isn't it? So I'm sure you'll start to see things appearing. You probably may have already seen some things, because we had, and we were able to get one stamp set early in order to do our make and take type things. There we are, we have some seaweed. Right, let's stick some of these elements on. I'm going to uncurl him so that we can put some of these things on. So yes, really excited about some of the tools and the technique-y things we're going to be able to, that are going to be added. Some things that I've played with before from, you know, informal lives that I'm going to be able to incorporate in to my crafting now, which is fabulous. I'm going to put him up on some dimensionals, I think. I do love this Whale of a Time suite, and I'm not aware, I don't know whether I've played with it very much really on the Facebook Lives. We had a lily pad stamp club. In fact, the first lily pad stamp club was using this. That is still available to join in with, and we had great fun creating lovely things. And I think this whale, I'll stick him down flat. down here, and I'll put the little turtle who's swimming the other way. We'll have him coming up on some dimensionals. So as I say, you can make these as intricate or as simple as you like. Just having a quick look to see. Yes, Whale of a Time sequins. The sequins are really beautiful because you've got some things like some little shells in here we can add in. As well as just some ordinary sequins. Let's put another shell in on that side. Quite like these sort of dark blue, almost purpley type ones. Let's have another one of those. And I'm sure that I put another spot of glue somewhere just there. Come here. Should have got my take a pic tool out, serves me right. Sequins have now stuck firmly to my finger. That's it. Right, so there we have. We bring him round, tuck him in. A fun Whale of a Time card. Let's come off at the top there. Excuse me. May actually, it's a very good, it's got almost a point on this sequin, which I think makes it quite hard to stick to the glue. So let's give it a glue dot. You are going to stick on. So there we go. There's our pyramid card with our Whale of a Time. So that one was made from, you could get 2 of those from a sheet of A4 card, because we cut our A4 card, our strip at 9.9 centimetres. You can get another 9.9 centimetres out of there and then cut it into 3 9.9 centimetre squares. But as I said, you can make these actually any size that you want to. So for the next one, let's go a bit bigger. Now you're not going to get 2 of these out of a piece of A4 cardstock. You're going to need 2 pieces of A4 cardstock. So I've got some Pretty Peacock here. And we're going to cut these at 14.9. I'm going to come first and cut it at 14.9 this way. No, let me take this one and cut it at 14.9. I'm trying to do wasting as little card as possible, because I can then put that half a sheet to one side, and then we'll cut it this way at 14.9. So we have one 14.9 square there. So 14.9, or around about that, is the biggest square you're going to get out of, the biggest 2 squares you're going to get out of a piece of A4 card. So if I cut that in half, we've now got 3 squares that are the same size. But apart from that, so we've got 3 much bigger squares, we're going to do exactly the same as we did before. We're going to put it in our trimmer, point to point. We're going to move the cutting blade out of the way because we don't want to do that. And we're going to score all 3 pieces point to point. 1, 2, and here comes number 3. Just like that. And then let's bring in our Christmas Gleaming paper. I think we'll have some of that one and some of that one. And I think perhaps let's go blue stars. Let's have those 3. So obviously we're going to need to cut these 3 at 14. We could bring in sort of something from that's not coppery. No, let's go all foiling. Let's go foilicious. Right, so I'm going to cut these at 14.4. So that's the ½ centimetre smaller on each side. And then again, we're going to cut these corner to corner. Now I need to make sure and think that I'm doing this right. Should be fine. I don't think actually the papers are pretty forgiving, aren't they? So there's not as if it's a one way up type situation. Let's go point to point and cut it in half. If you had got directional papers, you would have to think probably quite carefully at that point as to which way you were going to cut them. So as before, you're going to have your back piece, so it's point to point up and down, and then you're going to have one piece so that your score line is coming down and resting against that outside edge, and your other piece so that your score line is coming down and resting on that outside edge. So that's how it's going to lay out. So how shall we have our papers? Now I'm very aware that the back piece is the piece that's going to overlap. So what piece shall we have overlapping? What piece shall we have peeping through? Obviously, if you wanted to save your paper, you could probably gut the middle of this. You could cut it there really, because you've only got your bottom piece showing. In fact, I'm going to do that so that if you went on to make 2 of these, or you could certainly do something with those 2 bits, couldn't you? Why waste them? What am I doing? That way and that way. Very shiny and glitzy. Okay, let's stick our papers in place. One. Obviously you could use your stamping steel on this, or double-sided tape, or whatever your adhesive of choice is. That's the good thing about Tombow, is you've got that wiggle room. Let's fold that and let's give that a good press down there. Sorry, battering the camera. bit. I'm really squeezing the last bit out of this glue now. Let's fold that over. And then let's just pop these bits on. Wrong way, upside down. It's because I've cut it in half. It's sort of, my brain is going, no, no, it needs to go that way. No, it really doesn't. Okay, and now we need to stick these in place. So this one here, and this one here. Oh good, I'm going to get a new glue. I am battling with that one no longer. I will still use it, rest assured. I'll get the last of that glue out of that pot. But I think for our sanity, let's have a new one that we know is going to be running beautifully. Right, so again, we're going to need that so that it folds over there, so that that score line is coming up with that edge. And this score line is coming up with that edge. Just give that a press. And then the same on this side. So you've no doubt seen lots of these pyramid cards around. I've seen quite a few at the moment. They're one of those things that look as if they're going to be extremely complicated, but they're not. They are just made up of 3 squares. So you can make absolutely itsy bitsy tiny ones and make them into table name places on tables. You can make them like this and perhaps have some cutouts and perhaps in some way have a tea light in the middle. You can turn them into Christmas trees and have little baubles on them. Lots of things you can do. You tend to see lots of them around at Christmas, but they, as we just proved with our whales, they definitely don't have to be just for Christmas. So we have some choices here. We could either go with the stamp set, or we could go with papers. Let's take, what I might take is a little piece of, I'm going to punch out a bauble from that pretty peacock, but I'm also going to punch out a bauble from this paper. I'm going to stick those together just so that that makes that a little bit stronger. Let's put that glue to one side for a minute and let's get our new glue out. Yeah, so many options. They're just really cute. Let's stick those together like that. And we'll use that bauble as our piece on there. I am thinking I'm going to just grab the copper foil. Just going to take a tiny slither of copper foil and add it across there. Far more glue than we wanted. Let's just, ideally I would leave that to dry a little bit and then snip it. Oh, fiddle-dee-dee. And I think what else I'll do actually is I'm going to take a slightly bigger piece of copper foil. This is our little bauble. And we'll perhaps have those two together. Just to give it almost a shadow. Let's get a couple of little dimensionals. Put those down there. And then we'll have those as our, to bring that up a little bit more, have those as our holder on the back. And then we can decide what we want going on the front. And I've got some of the pretty peacock and old olive ribbon that coordinates so beautifully with these papers. Let's cut a couple of bows and then we'll have a tweak with them. Swap my scissors because my on stage gift for, we'd normally go, if you're silver elite, if you reach that title, you normally go to a centre stage and we get a special centre stage gift. But they did send us a centre stage gift, was a new pair of snips and this beautiful charm that has its little hole in the end that you can pop your scissors into. Now I have, because I've got the charm on, marked these. I've been saying for ages I need a new pair of scissors for my ribbon scissors. This is they, and they are marked for that purpose, and they're beautifully sharp, as you'd expect from a new pair of scissors. Right, let's take the slightly longer, bigger bauble. Let's have a think about baubles for that one. We could have a couple of these. They're going to stand out on there. This whole whole new thing of copper. I'd have a couple of copper ones, and I might emboss those actually. And I think I'm going to do a couple more out of this paper and just have the paper on the back. So I've got 3 baubles. I'm going to take this greenery embossing folder and run the copper ones through there to give them a bit of texture. Run those through the machine. It's just a standard embossing folder, this one. So it's the 2 plates. They're fun, aren't they? The 2 plates and the base plate without the die adapter. I think the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my bauble punch. And that's a bit, let's have this one just here. I'm going to come along and punch. There, I think 1, 2, 3, and 4 little tops. Use a glue dot to glue those on. One. 2. 3 and okay, where have you gone? 1, 2, 3. Ah, there you are. And 4. There's a glue dot on there. So, as we're standing looking at these cards, they're going to come down like this. So I think we'll have a blue one, a copper one, and a copper one like that. And a bow on the top. So this one, bring it down just a little bit more, we'll stick down here. We'll put some dimensionals on the back of this copper one, like this, and some dimensionals on the back of this one. like this. Let's use a glue dot for our bow at the top. And then we'll do the same with this one. Dimensionals. Apologies for the noise in the background. They're being very noisy out there, aren't they? Yes, good, Jedge. It's been a while since I've made a pyramid card. So just squares, that's all it is. It's just squares. So we'll have a bow at the top of this one as well, going on a bit of a different angle. We'll need a bit of a greeting. Not sure whether I might not look elsewhere. Do a nice big Christmas greeting with that one, couldn't we? Let's have hoping that your Christmas year comes together. Your busy year comes together in Christmas cheer. So I think we will go let's have a piece of pretty peacock card. Now obviously we haven't got the copper embossing anymore. So I'm going to go with Night of Navy on there, I think. Trim that up and we'll give it copper matte. I don't think any of that is going to be quite wide enough. Let's just going to cut a slice from this copper foil. Right, so this is just under 8 centimetres, 7.8 by 3.1. So let's make this 8.3 by 3.6, and in theory, yes, that should fit on there. Let's stick those together. Like that. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this. that. So obviously this is a much bigger card. And I think I'm going to cut a bit of a few little stars. So I'm going to cut the whirly star and hopefully that will mean that, one, I've got a nice copper whirly star that I can use on something else, but I'm going to be able to pinch the little stars that have come out of the middle. Let's rebuild. Let's put our plate number 2. And run that through there. Let's move this back out of the way, because as beautiful as this whirly curly star is, and I'm sure you can find a use for it, I'm not going to sit and poke all those bits out. What I actually want is these little stars out of the middle, so I can sit and work on getting all the little bits out of our whirly star on another occasion. But for now I've just got little stars that I'm going to be able to stick on here, because we have little stars in the background on our paper. I think I might put a little star in the middle of that bauble. Beautiful. Okay, so there we have a much bigger card, and again you're going to be able to put that, it will have to be in a 5 size envelope I think for that one, but it will fold flat to go in an envelope. You will be able to post it through standard post, you won't need to pay any extra. So we have a large pyramid card, and that was created out of 3 14.9 by 14.9, oh my little stars just come on, 14.9 by 14.9 pieces of cardstock. Or we've got this little one here that was made from half a sheet or less than half a sheet of A4 cardstock, just by cutting 3 squares at 9.9 centimetres. And as I say, you can make them any size you like. You just need to create 3 squares, and so there we go. I hope that answered the question. So yeah, just fold it flat like this. So for this one is going to fit into a C6 envelope. So here we are, there's your C6 envelope. I mean, obviously, if you were looking at this from the US, well then you would just find out what 3 sizes you could get from, what 3 squares you could get from your sheet of cardstock, and then it would fit into your standard size envelopes. So there's a normal C6 envelope, and it will fit in there. I think that one would fit into, obviously it's 14.9 that way, and it's 21 that way. So yeah, so if you had a C5 size envelope, that's going to fit into a C5 size envelope. So just fold them flat, and then they open up. You might need to add a little bit of a instruction, and you could put a sort of panel inside that you could write your greeting on. So there you go, pyramid cards. So that was a request from Caroline. So I'm really pleased that she was able to be here live today and didn't have to watch on catch up. So for a pyramid card, if you have requests for anything that you'd like me to have a play with, don't hesitate to ask. It gives me something to get my teeth into. But I hope you've enjoyed those. And as I say, you can decorate them any way you like once you've got your basic card. Good fun. Right, thank you everybody. Have a really good day, good rest of the week. I will be back live on Friday morning.